So I got a question. Do you think about the deaths and hospitalizations from people who do fasting retreats in Costa Rica or Panama? What's your thoughts, comments and criticisms during writing? This is a question I've been getting for many years. But I was sort of like, I can't really talk about that too much. But as an independent person now, it's easy for me to talk about what I want to versus worrying about any repercussions or whatever. So my tip would be, I would recommend not fasting. I would recommend look at your diet and lifestyle. If you do fast, be prepared for weight gain. Like you see ATM, he does his little fast all the time, and then he starts gaining weight, so then he's like starving more, and he's just, anything he eats now is just getting stored the fat, so he has to really live on rations more and more. And that's not life for me. That is not life for me. Recently this year, there was a young lady who fasted with Doug in Costa Rica, and now she ended up becoming very weak. Doug recommended that she should fast longer. Her mother had to fly all the way from Australia, cancel her daily routine, work, whatever, fly from Australia to Costa Rica. That's a long fucking flights. Go and travel in the mountains to Doug's thing, get her daughter, have a bit of an altercation there, get her daughter out of the fasting retreat, into the local hospital. In the local hospital, they gave her IV bags of electrolyte solution, and she received some blood transfusions. Her hemoglobin was like 5.9. Her sodium was about 109. And Doug recommended she fast longer. Well, I'm pretty thankful that her mother came over, because in my opinion, there would have been another death involved at Doug's fasting retreat. People do die at these fasting retreats or associated with them. Someone might fast, they faint, they end up in hospital or whatever, or their potassium levels get so low they can die from a heart attack. But this is not really addressed very often. You know, people can go a bit crazy and up in mental wards, etc. That has happened at these fasting retreats in Costa Rica and Panama as well. Lauren, there's people who died after fasting there as well. But these fasting retreat things, it's all about the coin, so you don't really hear about these stories because they may affect the reputation. And these are not addressed. Doug or Lauren refuse to really discuss it. You know, they're like, just roll over the question. And for me, that really shows a sign of lack of integrity when someone doesn't address serious questions like this. In my opinion, Doug's fasting retreats would be safer if he had some sort of level of medical testing, just to get a hematocrit spinner, measure people's hemoglobin, just do electrolyte testing. Testing's pretty cheap in Costa Rica. I mean, it costs $12,000 to lay in a bed for 3 weeks, a share room bed with Doug, and not eat, and then get eaten a bit of local fruit and veg afterwards. I mean, $12,000. That's a lot of fucking money to do fuck all, then to eat some fruit, and then you got to factor in your airfares and time off work and all that stuff. And so for a lot of people, that's $20,000 to lay in a bed and not eat for 3 weeks, and then do a week or so of eating some fruit and some veggies chopped up fancily. Now, I think that's a bit rich. And I think if you're going to charge that much money, then at least let's ensure more safety of the person. Let's ensure they don't burn themselves out. And let's test their cortisol levels. Let's test their sodium levels. Let's test their hemoglobin, so we don't have people getting blood transfusions after a fast. That's just my opinion. That's my comments and criticisms. I don't hate Doug, but I seriously want to see more, what's the word? Let's prevent people from dying. People get into this healthy lifestyle because they want to get better. They don't get worse. So if we can do some little tests and stuff, let's do that. Versus be so arrogant that we think that we're faultless or whatever. You know? But Doug doesn't talk about this stuff. Lauren doesn't talk about this stuff, right? And then there's the weight gain. The weight gain afterwards. It's like, or it's just crazy. It's crazy. So people don't get told that. They do not get told that. I think you should, when you get into something, you should be educated the risks. When you go to a pharmacy and take medication, they give you the risks on the little CMI sheet. All right. When you go to do a fast, there's none of that at all. People should have everything, the pros and cons, so then they can make their own personal conclusions. So my personal conclusion is, I wouldn't fast in Costa Rica. Ever, I wouldn't recommend fasting unless you're ready for some weight gain or having a lot of time off training. I would recommend save that money, go to Thailand. You can for $20,000, you can live for probably 3 or 4 years in Thailand on a 100% fruit diet, and get some crazy results and train every day and have energy versus do some crazy thing of starvation and make your metabolism really slow. That's my thoughts, comments, and criticisms. I wouldn't recommend going and doing a fast. If you want to go to Costa Rica and watch people fasting, I did the internship with Doug in 2007. I had a good time. It was good. And it taught me that fasting's not really for me, because I saw what happened afterwards and that, especially later in the year when I do follow up with people and talk with people. And yeah. So if you're going to go away, if you want to go over there, if you want to spend some money, do the internship, but I wouldn't recommend fasting. Fucks your metabolism, could kill you, and it's that 6 months of your life where you have to recover. And I don't think that's really healthy if you have to recover from something. You know, you don't have to recover from a fruitarian lifestyle or raw till 4 lifestyle, but to have to recover from a water fast, I don't see anybody benefiting personally, except for the people who spend or who charge $12,000 to lay in bed and then have a week of eating fruit afterwards. And one more thing that really sort of irked me was Doug still today, I checked his website today, that he still has a testimonial from a lady named Jane Muddy. She fasted with Doug, but she did actually die afterwards. She went on Doug's little walking tour and she fainted and she died. Alright, so at the end of the day she's dead. But Doug still uses her testimony as how much fun she had on the fast. So I think what would be more, transparent and a sign of integrity would say in a little hashtag down the bottom, Jane actually did die shortly after this fast because her potassium levels got so low, her heart stopped beating. I would say that would be a bit better versus, you know what I mean? Let's put the pros and fucking cons. Let's educate people on the risks. Someone comes on a bike ride with me, I'm going to tell them, look, take it easy in the downhills because you could lose your face if you come off. Alright? I'm not going to go, yeah, just fly down the mountains, it's really cool. I'm going to say, look, there's risks involved. If you start running, look, you could get a shin splint, you could get a stress fracture. Just be aware of that, be easy into it. Alright? Don't eat fucking 50 bananas in one sitting, it could rupture your stomach. I let people know the risks. Doug doesn't. It's all fucking fairy tales. And same with Lauren. And that really does rub me the wrong way. So that's my comments and criticisms. You asked for them. I don't bullshit you. I've got nothing to sell you. Come to our festival. It's fucking free. Zero money. Alright? You'll learn all the shit from everyone else's retreats at our retreat for free. And people might say, well, you know, $12,000 for a fast, that's pretty cheap compared to heart surgery or whatever. I can see where you're coming from. But don't we want to make this health lifestyle easy for people to attain? Don't we want to do that? And that's what we're putting on the Thai Festival this year. Because we're sick and tired of how much money grubbing goes on and how much orthorexic teachings or whatever go on. So we thought, well, fuck it, we're going to put on our own little festival this year. The Thai Fruit Festival, over 3,000 members on the Facebook page. You're going to learn everything you need to learn for free. Come and train, eat with us. Learn how to get fruits and stuff like that. Learn how to order at restaurants for free in Thailand. That sounds fucking awesome. So that's my comments and criticisms, alright? We have enough experience now. We've been at these events and retreats and festivals, etc., and we've become a bit dissatisfied. So we're going to... It's easy to point fingers and do all that shit, but unless you become part of the solution, doesn't really count, does it? So we're trying to be part of the solution, create more transparency, more objective information, more sustainable information, so everybody can do it regardless of your income. Don't feel guilty if you can't afford $20,000 for all your costs of fasting, alright? That's bullshit. You don't need to fast. So I personally know several people who have died during fasting. I'd say 99% of people I know who do a fast and actually survive, 99% of them gain a lot of weight, especially around their abdominal area, and they don't fucking like it. The rest take many, 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 many months to recover back to a normal level. So fasting, it's going to make you gain weight 99% of the time. It's going to take many months to recover back to your high intensity levels beforehand. It's risky, it may kill you. You may end up in a hospital with a blood transfusion, and it can be fucking expensive.